Okay, the next thing we're going to do is add some components for our remote jammer. And so I have the library user component selected up here. So the first thing that will drop in is the Arduino. So we'll click on Arduino and select the Arduino Uno. Now when we just click it, all we need to do is drag it over and in. And if I press the R button, I can rotate it. Okay. But until I click the mouse button, it's not going to set it in place. So I'll click, and you'll notice that after you click, you'll see another one. We only need the one. So what you can do is right click, or you can press escape, and that will prohibit another one from coming down. So we have Arduino Uno. We can zoom in with the scroll wheel and take a look at it. Okay, the next thing that we want to add in is our transistors. If we go under Fairchild, the transistors we'll be using are the 2N3904s. If I just click in here, I can type 2N, and you'll see that then it'll pop up. I start typing the name, and then I'll drag that in. We're going to need a total of 4 of these. So I'll tack 1 down, 2 down, 3, and 4, and that'll be done. Right click. And what I'll do, I'm going to kind of move these out. We can move these at any time, but we'll do it like this. Okay, so those are our transistors, emitter, base, and collector. And we're going to need some resistors as well. Let's see, we'll go under discrete up here, and we're going to select, we'll do resistor. Well, 500 ought to do the trick. So we'll click on that, and then we're going to add one here, and we'll put one here. Don't be too concerned with placement at this point, but just we'll get them in the vicinity. So we'll put one next to the base, and then we'll rotate, and we're going to put one by each of the collectors. Okay, and then we'll right click and see symbols. Okay, we got to find diode. We'll take this one, diode LED 1, okay? And then we're going to rotate that by pressing the R, and we'll put one of these by each of the resistors near the collector, and we'll right click, and now we'll have all of our components that we're going to need for this project. Next, what we're going to do is connect all of this stuff up. So I'm going to move all of this. So I'm going to just click with my mouse left button until it's all selected. And then if I just go to a part, I can click and hold, and I can drag these things down a little bit. And then I can use my scroll wheel to zoom in. Now to deselect, just click off of into an empty area. Okay, so all of the positives of these LEDs we're going to connect to one another. And so I'll start by clicking on the little square at the end of this diode here. And if I click again, I can kind of determine its path. So I'm going to have it bend down here, so I'll click. We're going to come down near the 5 volts here and hover over it. You can see when I hover over it, it turns red. Okay, so that would complete the connection when I click. And now what I've done is I've connected this LED to the 5 volts. I'm going to then connect this LED by clicking, and I'm going to attach it up to that same line. I'm going to come over here, click, and click again to attach it to here, and click, and click, and then I'll finish attaching these together. So we'll click away. Okay, and it doesn't matter if I click on this first or this first, I'm just saying what I want connected. And then I'm going to connect the resistor to each of the collectors. And I'm going to connect these resistors to the base. I don't like how that runs. So I'll press escape. Let's see, I'm going to move that a little bit, see if I can change that. Okay, that'll be good for now. Right click. Yeah, you can move these around a little bit too by clicking on the line. Okay, yeah, that'll be good. Okay, then we need to connect the emitters to ground. So make sure that you click on the arrow. We could also, if we wanted to, click on this, which is place a wire, just to make sure that when you hover over this emitter connector here, that it should turn red. If it doesn't turn red when you hover over any of these, so any of these or any connection, if it doesn't highlight red, make sure that you have the arrow selected, or you can click the wire tool, one of the two. I'm going to just click the arrow, and then we'll go and grab the emitter, and I am going to run that all the way over here to ground, and then I'll connect this to the ground as well by tapping into that same line, which we actually call nets. You might see that show up net there. They're all networked together, so they're all attached to that. And then lastly, we want to connect the resistors to pin 3. That's what we're going to be using for the output from our Arduino. Now, if you remember our Arduino, they can source 40 milliamps of current, and we've designed this so that we'll really get about 8.5 milliamps roughly through each of these resistors. So if we take 8.5 times 4, we come up with somewhere around 35 milliamps. So we're still under the 40 milliamps that the output from the Arduino can actually provide. Okay, so we have that one connected, and we can just tap right in to the rest of them. So now each of these resistors here will get their voltage and current from D3. Okay. I'll go back up and click on my arrow, and when I hover over it, you can see that it shows by making all of the connections red, whatever's connected to D3. So I can see D3 is connected to each of the resistors because it's turning red. Okay, you can see that. So it shows all the connections. Same with if I hover over this, it shows everything that's connected to that point. Okay. So that is what my schematic looks like. Now the last thing that you want to do is to just make it look decent, so it doesn't look like a mess. You can move the lines around, but you should make it look reasonably nice so that we can look at this thing and see what's going on. Or if you're giving it somebody to preview, they can look at it and not have to see all these unnecessary lines running all over the place. It just helps if it's neater. And make sure that you save your document. So it should already be saved as Remote Jammer, so you should just be able to click File, Save, and that would do it.